YouTube! So today I wanted to discuss changes that have been made to the Air Carrier Access Act, the ACAA. This is the act that governs how service dogs are to be treated while flying, and the rules have been changed by the Department of Transportation, also called the DOT. I will include a link to the actual report that was put in the Federal Registry for anyone who wants to read this. I'm not going to be able to hit every single point, but I am going to try to hit the major points. The first major point is that emotional support animals, ESAs, will no longer be covered the same as service dogs. They will be treated as pets. The second major change is that their definition has been made to fall in line more closely with the Department of Justice's definition of a service dog, which they use in the Americans with Disability Act, with the one caveat: miniature horses are not included. So as far as the Department of Transportation is concerned, a service dog must be a dog, and it must be trained to do a task to mitigate a person's disability. The third major change is that the DOT has ruled that people can be limited to 2 service animals. So if you, let's say, we're going to be somewhere a long time and your dog, needed to work 24/7, like cardiac alert or something like that, you might need 2 service animals. Or if you needed a guide dog and you had a dog trained for diabetes. The caveat to that is they've ruled that both of your dogs or dog must be able to fit in your foot space. So that it is something to bear in mind. The DOT has released a form that airlines can require you to fill out. I've read the form. It's basically certifying that your dog is trained. They are accepting owner trained as part of this. Your dog is trained to do a task. Your dog knows how to behave, and on flights more than 8 hours, they can require you to fill out a form saying that your dog will either A, not relieve itself on the aircraft, or if it does, it will do so in a sanitary fashion. This form also reminds people that they're federal forms, so it reminds people that it is a federal offense to falsify these forms. They're hoping that will offer some deterrence. Another ruling found that, these forms can be required to be filled out 48 hours in advance, as long as you've booked 48 hours in advance. But if an emergency comes up and you need to be, on a flight tomorrow or later that day, you can bring them to the gate. So don't worry about something like that. They were talking about having to have your vet do things. That's not the way we're going. These are just owner forms. As of now, a copy of these forms will be in the link that I'm sending to the 25-page document. Also, they have indicated under when they can charge a fee for if the dog does destroy something on the aircraft. The rule is if they would charge a human for the breakage, they're allowed to charge a dog for the breakage. And the final, I guess, kind of big one is that verbal control no longer counts for being in control of your dog. Your dog must be leashed or harnessed, attached to you, your wheelchair, something in some way. That does differ from the ADA. The ADA, your dog is allowed to be unleashed or unharnessed if your disability would prevent them from doing their task that you need for them to do. So again, there are a few changes. certain proposals like making disabled people be there an hour before so they could check your dog, to observe your dog's behavior, etc., etc., those have been struck down. You should still be allowed to use curbside service, advanced check-in, all of the features that somebody that doesn't have a disability would be able to use. These forms should be able to be transmitted online. If you do run into any problems at all, number one, ask to speak to a complaints resolution official, a CRO. If that does not get you a satisfactory response, you can make a complaint with the Department of Transportation. I will include a link to them below. These forms should be made accessible to everybody. That includes screen reader users. If they're not, please make these complaints so they know and they can fix it. If your dog has been trained by an organization or school, please reach out to them just to log your complaints with them so they know if there's any huge issues, how huge these issues are. If you have any questions, I will be more than happy to answer them. You are welcome to email me at blynddE1@yahoo.com, or you can find me on Facebook. I will be posting this, the Blind and Visually Impaired Support Network group. That would be a very, very easy way to ask. I am going to close comments on this because anytime emotional support animals get mentioned, it's a very heated topic. So I've tried to lay out the facts to the best of my ability, the best of my understanding. So thanks very much for watching. There will be a link to this below. I would encourage anybody with a service dog to read over it. It is kind of long. It is like 25 pages. But at least you'll know these changes do go into effect January 11th. They are allowed to ask for the forms one time per trip, so it's not one time each way. Just something to bear in mind. So I would definitely read over that just so there aren't any surprises or any shocks of any kind. So thanks for watching, and I hope you have a good weekend.